Hi, everyone. In this workshop, we are going to learn how to create positioning maps. So positioning maps are used to understand perceptual mapping of brands on different dimensions based on how consumers rate their preferences or perceive these brands. So here we have automobile brands, BMW. These are brand model combinations, BMW 1, Toyota Prius, Renault Scenic, Holden Astra, Toyota Corolla, and Mercedes A-Class. The consumers have rated these brands on the different dimensions of sportiness, eco-friendly, luxury, and variability. Besides that, we also have the information on market share. So let's, to create a positioning map, we need to identify the two dimensions, one for x-axis and one for y-axis, which we want to, plot on the chart to see how the brands fare along these dimensions. So in our case, let's create a positioning map on the dimensions sportiness and eco-friendly to identify whether the consumers, do they perceive the sporty cars as eco-friendly and vice versa. And so to do this, what we are going to do is we will highlight this data. We go to insert the chart, the scatter plots, and you can choose either of these options. This is a 3D bubble chart, so I'll take this. And you will notice that, the different brands have been plotted as bubbles. So what we need to do is now to move the x-axis in such a way that we are able to distinguish the entire map into 4 quadrants and see where the different brands lie along the dimensions of higher sportiness, lower sportiness, more eco-friendly, and less eco-friendly. So to do that, what we are going to do is click on the x-axis, right-click, Format Axis. Now the axis ranges from 0 to 7. So we come to this option of axis value and take a middle number, say 3, and click on Enter. So this will move the axis. Same way we go to the y-axis, right-click on that, and click on Format Axis, go to axis value and choose the value of 3. So it moves the other axis relative to this particular axis. So now we have the axis in the middle. We can do some more operations like Format Axis. You come to this color box. The axis line can be a solid line in maroon color. I can increase the width of this line. And if you scroll down, you can also create arrows. So the begin arrow type, the end arrow type can be selected, and you will notice that the horizontal axis is now represented by arrows. And the same exercise we can do for the y-axis. We change that to a vertical line. Okay. And end arrow type. So now we've got these arrows. Given that we now have the different bubbles which represent the different brands on the 2 dimensions of sportiness and eco-friendly, we also need to identify the X and Y axis. So the Y axis is sportiness, and let's increase the size of this graph. And we can just highlight the graph area somewhere, and we can go to this menu item called Design and click on Chart Element Axis Title, Primary Horizontal Axis, which in our case is eco-friendly. So let's put that label, and probably we can put it a little onto this side and also make it bold. And then we come to, this is the title. So let's give it the title of Positioning Map for Automobiles, Automobile Brand model combinations. And then let's again highlight this, go to add chart element, go to primary vertical, and give it the vertical axis title, that is sportiness. And again, you can make it bold. You want a different color, you could do that. And now to be able to understand which of the bubbles represents which of the brands, again, we highlight the map area and we go to add chart element, data labels, and just you can put any data label, say center. And now what you're seeing actually the numbers show up, that is the labels for the y-axis. So we want to change these to the labels for the brand and the model combination. So right click, go to format data labels, click on value from cells, and you will see this little pop-up box and it says select the data label range. So select all of this range for the different brands and click on OK. And so now you'll see that the brand model combination name appears on these bubbles. But you also see that value for the y-axis appearing over here. So uncheck this box for y value, and those values are going to disappear. So that's how you create a positioning map. And you could also select different styles, to make these maps interesting the way you like them. And the way to interpret these maps is now, for example, your horizontal axis is eco-friendly and the y-axis is sportiness. So you will notice that BMW is high on sportiness, but it's very low on eco-friendly. On the other hand, Toyota Corolla is high on eco-friendly, but it's kind of somewhere in the middle for sportiness. Mercedes is very high on eco-friendly, and it's relatively high on sportiness as well. So that's how you interpret these brands. On the other hand, Toyota Prius is very low on eco-friendly, and it's also low on sportiness. So now you will see that instead of looking at numbers, the positioning maps are so very attractive and help you to visualize and see so easily how the different brands stand on the positioning map. So play around with these positioning maps, try to draw the positioning maps for different variables such as eco-friendly and luxury and sportiness and variability, and see for yourself how the picture changes. Okay, all right, thank you.